Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Bill Platt channel for book authors. And I'd like to say, just starting off, that I'm not going to worry about. I know the video quality is not that hot with this, but in a few weeks I'll be set up in my new place, and I will have a proper video studio, at least more proper than this one. So my belief is that most everybody here is going to be here for the content rather than the video production quality. So I'm not going to worry about that too much, and just go ahead and get on with it. So I've been around for a long, long time, about 17 years, working with writers to first from 2000 to 2010, working with writers to promote themselves online. And starting in like 2010, I made the transition to working with book authors. And for the last 7 years, I've been working with book authors. And one of my gifts that I kind of bring to it is I understand marketing in a way that a lot of people don't understand marketing. I also, in my specialty, I'll be honest with you, I am a nonfiction writer. I do not write fiction. I do occasionally provide resources for fiction authors, and those resources do help out fiction authors. And I can give guidance to fiction authors, say, for example, with their marketing or their basic storytelling, but I can't get into the deeper details on how to write an awesome fiction book because, well, frankly, I'm incapable. So every once in a while I'll talk about things in the context of a fiction book, but that's not my specialty. And just so that you understand that going forward, my specialty is writing nonfiction. I've written lots and lots of nonfiction over the years. I've been writing and publishing my work for more than 17 years now. And with my experience, I know a lot about the marketing side of the equation, how to get your book in front of the right audience so that you can sell more books. And that is my specialty. So going forward, and let me say, I've worked with coloring book authors. I provided training at one point for people who wanted to get into the mix to do coloring books. Also work with authors who are wanting to get into journals and diaries and those types of books, low content, no content books. And I've trained authors on how to write great nonfiction, and I do product development. And as far as like, in some cases we're doing straight PDF, and in other cases we're bringing in video into that training and providing people the kind of education they need to be successful with their book publishing business. And I know a lot of people over the years. I've been friends with a lot of people, still are friends with a lot of people who do publish books, and some of them are very, very successful with their book publishing business. And many of those people are in the fiction genre, and most of them will vouch for the kind of information I can give to them and how I can help them out along the way. So that is my background, and over the coming weeks and months, I'm going to be producing more of these videos. Now, in the future, I'll be on a better camera. That thing there, it's a $10 camera. It does the work. It puts me on video, but I do not like the picture quality. And I am in temporary offices right now. So what you see behind me is just a blank, boring wall. So I'm not going to worry about that, and just wanted to highlight that right here at the beginning. But from the perspective of the fiction author, there's a lot I can contribute to fiction authors as far as their training, but I do not write fiction. And what I've done over the years with fiction authors is I work with other people who do training. And so I've been able to work with people who do some top-notch training in the fiction environment, and I've been able to provide that platform for those people to bring their training to my customer base. And my customer base is mostly hopeful authors. In some cases, we're talking about people who have never written a book before and they want to tackle the challenge of writing a book, and some of them have books that they published, and they're looking for larger audiences. And a couple of my most well received training that I'd produced myself, 72-hour nonfiction books, which a lot of people still consider that among the top 5 that I've ever produced, and also hypnotic book descriptions. And if you go to Google and type in hypnotic book descriptions, you'll see a link there. Every time I check it, it's like number 1, but it's at the professionalbookmarketing.com website, and you can get that training there. And that's helped a lot of people really up their game and provide better book descriptions when they list their books on Amazon, which has helped their sales long term. So what I'm going to be talking to you on this channel about is some nights, some days I'm going to focus on the writing, what it takes to write a great book. And most of that's going to be fitted within the nonfiction writing category. And I can, like I said, I can lend something to fiction, but that's not my specialty. And then I'll talk about other types of production, book production, and publishing your books, getting your books published on different platforms. The question about where to publish your books, and then I'll get into I'll talk a lot about your book description, because it really is the most important part of your book listing. Because once people found your book, the only thing keeping them from buying is whether they think that book description has told them what they need to know so that they're willing to make a purchase. And for authors, we live and die on that book description. And to be perfectly frank, sometimes I rewrite my book description several times before I'm happy with the results that they produce. So my first time out, it might stink. My second time out, it might stink. And I'll just keep tackling it until I get to the point where I'm producing the kind of sales I want to produce with it. And I do make my living from what I do as a writer. So I do have some background here, some expertise that I can share with each of you. So, and I will also talk about the marketing equation, how to market your books. Because what happens, almost every author I talk to, they'll tell me, well, we don't know why people buy books. Well, I know why people buy books. And it's one of the things I talked about in email today is the AIDA, which is attention, interest, desire, and action. And it's a copywriting formula. So you have to get the attention of your reader. You got to create an interest in your topic material. You got to create a desire to own your book, and you need to provide them the opportunity to take action and click the buy button. So that's one of the things I'll be talking to you about a lot as well going forward, is how we can encourage people to purchase our books. And then on the attention side, how do we get the attention of people? And some people go out and they do these video trailers for their books. I'm not a big fan. I'll be perfectly frank with you. I think there are better ways to get the attention of the people we want to buy our books. So I'll talk about that as well too. And a lot of people, they do like a 30-day video live or whatever, challenges, or 100-day challenge, where the goal is to create a video once a day for 30 days or once a day for 100 days. And I'm going to approach it in a similar fashion, but I'm going to approach it in a different fashion. So instead of worrying about promoting or putting up a video every day, when I'm in the mood to sit down to create videos, I'm going to create 2 or 3 of them. And then I'll just post all those up. And I'm not going to probably do a video every day, because I still got my writing projects, I got my programming projects, I got my training projects I'm still working on. And, honestly, I shouldn't be doing this even right now. I've got projects on the table I need to be doing right now, but I feel a strong need to do this. So I was in a Facebook group the other night talking to different book authors, and honestly, I was surprised how many of them believe that we as book authors have absolutely no control over who buys our books. And as writers, we're better, you know. And I was watching a video earlier this evening um, by a lady I know from way back, and she was talking about the myths of book publishing. And one of those myths that challenges a lot of people, they think, well, I need to get a print publishing house, a publishing company, to take my book because they will do the marketing for me. Real world. Let's shatter that illusion right now. Most book publishers, they don't specialize in promoting books. And most book publishers, their idea, and this goes back to like the early 2000s, it may change. You might find a book publisher who does serious marketing on your books, but the chances of that are really, really slim. And what most print book publishers do is they will do your book cover for you, make sure you got a good title, make sure you got a great blurb on that book, your book description, and then they will send out a press release. And that's about the gist of it. Until your book sells 1,000 copies, it's nothing special. And here's the reality, and I disagree with this number. Somebody was saying earlier today that the average book will sell 250 copies. I think that number is way too high. And one of the things they come back to when they were making that discussion, they said, you know, we as individuals, and this is, I've seen this number a lot, we as individuals, if we go out and we go to the people we have influence over, so we got our friends and our family, the people we work with, the people we know from when we're going around town doing our thing, going to the restaurant or whatever, people who actually know our name, is about 300 people. So where that number comes from is the wedding industry and the funeral industry. They anticipate that the average person will have 300 people show up to the wedding, and the average person will have 300 people show up to the funeral. Now, the reality is that a lot of people will have much less. So, when my dad passed, we had probably 50 people at his funeral. And at his second wedding, there's only 7 of us, right? But then there are the people who are really popular. Michael Jackson's funeral probably had 20,000 people there. So when you break down the average, it breaks down to an average of 300 people. And that's why most funeral parlors, when you go there, they have a room set aside for the funeral mass or a funeral ceremony. And that room is usually big enough to suit 50, maybe 60 people. If you want more people than that at your funeral, then you have to have a funeral in a church, because the church will seat 300 to 500 people. If you're somebody like Michael Jackson, then you have to have, it's not enough to do it in a church anymore, you have to do it outside, or you have to do it at a stadium in order to seat all the guests for your funeral. So when you break it down, the average is 300, but in a lot of cases it's much, much less. So when we go out there and we use that 300 number, and we're talking about the people that we can influence in our private personal life. And maybe the people we can influence is a larger number than who will actually show up at our funeral, okay? So if you can sell one copy of your book to each of the 300 people in your circle of influence, then you match what is said to be the industry standard for books published, the number of books published per book. And there are something like 100,000 books published every year. So if the average book is only selling 250 copies, then anything you can do above that proves your book exceptional. So if you can sell 500 copies, you're better than 98% of the books out there. If you can sell more than 1,000 copies, you're better than 99% of the books out there. If you can sell more than 2,000 copies or 10,000 copies, see where I'm going with this? So this is what I hope to teach you going forward, is how you can expand your reach beyond the average of 250 books sold for every book published. And like I said, I think that number is a whole lot lower, and probably because I work with a lot of self-published authors. And I know a lot of self-published authors are still scratching trying to sell 50 books, you know? And I decided, I don't look as old as I am. I turned 52 here in about a week or so. But before my 50th birthday, I decided, because I've been published for 17 years, and I've had many best-selling books, but I sell most of my stuff from my own website. And as of 2015, I didn't have any, quote, bestsellers on Amazon, even though I'd made my living from my writing for several years, selling thousands of books, tens of thousands of books even. I did not have that coveted Amazon bestseller. So prior to my 50th birthday, I decided, well, before I'm 50, I want to be an Amazon bestseller. It's not like, for me, it doesn't really matter where you sell your books, right? It doesn't matter if I sell it on Amazon. It doesn't matter if I sell it on Apple. It doesn't matter if I sell it on Google Play, right? If I can sell 1,000 books, hey, I'm better than most everybody out there, right? And I've got books out there that sold 2,000 and 3,000 copies. And I do make, like I said, I do make my living from this. I left my last job in 2005. I haven't had a job since 2005. I earn all my money from my writing, period. Okay? So I don't leave out in the morning and go out. I come here to my computer and I hack out a book or an email or a product or a whole range of ors involved there. And I sell a lot of product and I sell a lot of books. But before 2015, I've got like dozens of books on Amazon under pen names. But I never had a book on Amazon under my own name that went bestseller. So I sat down and I wrote up a book. And I spent about 3 days writing that book, and I put it up on Amazon. And number one book in my categories in every Amazon store in the world. And I hit top 500 in the proper Amazon bookstore. If you went to the Amazon bestsellers list, I was ranked 444. So I hit the top 500. I was an Amazon bestseller before I turned 50. Now, I write in nonfiction. And I'll be honest with you. The money is in fiction. Okay? So those people who write fiction books have a much greater opportunity to crush it on Amazon, right? When you're in the bestseller list, you're selling, if you're in, say, the top 20 on Amazon, chances are you're selling 2,000 or 3,000 copies a day, okay? In my particular genre, writing books for book authors, teaching them how to market their books online, it's a really small marketplace, right? Estimation, probably 50 to 100,000 potential customers worldwide, okay? But I sold 1,000 of them in one day. which enabled me to go from nowhere land to Amazon bestseller in 24 hours. And then I had steady sales beyond that. But at a certain point, it dies off because I've only got an audience, a target market audience of 50 to 100,000 people. So selling 1,000 copies or selling 2,000 copies is incredible for my marketplace, for my target audience. If you want to sell more books than that, you have to write books that are directed at a larger audience. And since I can't write fiction, I'm not going to write the next Harry Potter, okay? But I will write nonfiction books, and I will make my living from doing so. And to me, in my world, it doesn't matter whether I am Amazon Top 500 every time I release a book. It doesn't even matter if I even make it to Amazon Top 100. What matters is that I make enough money so I don't have to go get a job. I need to make enough money from my writing that I don't have to have a job. I make a steady, consistent, reliable income. I make more money from my writing than what it costs for me to survive and raise a family. Okay? So you're not going to see me out there with the #1 book in Amazon unless I can pull a rabbit out of my hat, which is entirely possible. Okay? Because I know one thing that most authors don't. I know it comes down to the marketing. Okay? I know your book description determines of the people that you got to go to your book listing on Amazon, how many of those people are going to make a purchase. The larger percentage there, and I'm generally targeting 10 to 20% conversion rates on my book landing pages. And a lot of times I will pull that off. So if 11% of everybody who lands on my sales page buys a book, then I need to put more hundreds of people on my sales page. So if I want to sell 1,000 copies and I'm converting at 11%, then I need to get about 90,000 people looking at my sales page. So I have to go out there and find the people and bring them to my offer and get them to buy what I'm selling. So I've got a large track record. You know, I've sold a lot of books. There's no doubt about that. But the question is, well, he sold it on his own website, so does that make it different? Well, not really. It's the same concept. I'm still selling a book from a website instead of from Amazon. Amazon is nice. I love selling books from Amazon. And most of you will be selling books from Amazon, and here's the reason why. When I sell it from my own website, I have to bring more to the table than what most authors bring to their books. Okay? So I have to have the knowledge to build a website. I have to have the knowledge to do the HTML on a website. I need to lay out the sales page, make it all pretty. Then I have to put a buy button on the web page. And then I have to make sure that that buy button connects with a payment processor who collects the money. In a lot of cases it's PayPal, and some cases it's Stripe. But people have to go to PayPal and make that purchase. And then once they've made that purchase, they are sent back to my website, and I have to make sure I deliver the product that was just purchased. So there's a whole lot more involved in the process when I'm selling from my own website than when we're selling from Amazon. And the beautiful thing about the way I do things, because I'm doing everything from my own website, because I'm in a very tight niche, a tight genre, as far as my audience, I can typically charge a little bit more than what people expect to pay on Amazon. Average Amazon customer expects to pay between $3 and $10. But I can, because I'm selling from my own website, I can mark it as $17. And the beauty of that is not only do I not have to share the money with Amazon, so I get to keep more of my own money. Excuse me. But I keep more of my own money. I don't split with them. They don't tell me how much I can sell it for. They don't tell me how much I can keep. Okay? So with Amazon, if you sell the book from Amazon, if it's priced between $2.99 and $9.99, you will get 70% royalty from your book. If you price it under $3 or over $10, you only get to keep 35% of the royalties. So when I sell it from my own website, guess what? I get to keep 95% of the proceeds. Okay? So I can mark it up above $10 to $17, and instead, if I price it at $10 for Amazon, I'd make $7 and $7 per book sold. Okay. If I put on my own website for $17, I get to make $16 per copy sold. So more than double the money, right? And if I'd taken the same book and put it on Amazon at $17, I'd only get 35% of the money, which means I'll still only make $7, no matter whether I price it at $7 or $20. The money is the same. So I sell a lot of my books from my own website. Does that make me somehow not an author? No, it doesn't. I'm still an author, and I still sell more books than most people who pay attention to me. Okay? And it's not, for me, it's not a matter of how many books I'm selling, it's how much profit I'm keeping, right? So what I do when I'm selling to my own website, I have to bring in the ability to build a website, do the HTML, write the sales page, set up the shopping cart, set up the product delivery, and I get one more thing I have to do. I have to bring my own traffic. So I have to go out and find people and bring them to my website so they can look at my sales page, okay? On Amazon, we really don't have to do that in a lot of cases, because Amazon has the built-in customer base that's already looking for books like the books you've written, okay? Now, there are times when you'll want to be involved in traffic generation for Amazon. We'll talk about that in future videos. But for now, in the perfect world, if you can trigger Amazon's algorithm, and this is the important factor here, if you can trigger Amazon's algorithm, Amazon will send traffic to your book, okay? But Amazon is in the business of making money. So their algorithm is designed to trigger traffic to send books to offers, or send people to books that are making money right now. If your book has never sold a single copy, Amazon's algorithm is not going to point people to your book. So you have to prime that pump. And that's how I did it when I went bestseller on Amazon. I primed the pump. I put 500 people into that sales page, just like that. Boom! And I sold 300, 400, 500 copies, right? And then now Amazon's algorithm kicked in. And Amazon's algorithm said, look at this book. It's just released this morning. It's making money. Maybe we can make some more money if we send some more traffic to it. Okay? And then Amazon started sending traffic to the book. So the first 500 were me, the first 500 sales. The second 500 were Amazon. Okay? And then Amazon sent another 500 over the course of the next 30 days. So that book did reasonably well. It's not the kind of thing that's going to allow me to retire, but it was the kind of thing that allowed me to make some decent money from the book. And so the same tactics I apply to selling on my own website will apply to your Amazon books. Okay? And I've done it on Amazon, and I've done it on my own websites. And here's the deal. This is what really trips people up. They say, well, you're not doing it on Amazon, so you're not the real deal. Excuse me, I'm selling more books than you are. Okay? The thing is that I've made the determination that I want to keep 95% of my royalties instead of 70% of my royalties. Okay? I'm making more money by selling it on my own website. Now, occasionally, I will take books and I will look at that particular book and I'll say, okay, this particular book would not be a good fit for building my own website, right? So suppose I do a nonfiction on dating, okay? If I do a dating book, I don't have a big audience of fans who are into dating, okay? It's just the reality of it. So instead of trying to go out and find an audience for a dating book, I'll take that dating book and put it on Amazon, okay? Because they've already got the built-in audience for that type of book. With the type of books I write more often, the how to write books, how to market your books, I'm better putting it on my own website and sending it to my mailing list, because I have like, I believe 5,800 people on my mailing list who like buying my products. So I don't have to give 30% of my royalties to Amazon in order to make money from my book. And I don't have to allow Amazon to tell me, well, no, you can't put more than $10 on the price tag for that particular book. Okay? So Amazon says, if you charge more than $10, you're not going to get to keep 70% of your royalties. You'll have to only get 35%. So it's in your best interest to go ahead and price the book under $10. But in my world, I can keep 95% of the money if I can bring the traffic. Okay? So if I can bring my own traffic, I'll sell it from my own website. If I cannot bring my own traffic, I'll put it on Amazon. And here's the funny thing about some of the books I put on Amazon. The ones that went bestseller status. They were books that I could put on my own website and send my traffic to. Okay? I chose to take less money on those books to prove a point. I put those books on Amazon and then drove traffic to them, then blew them up to bestseller status, just to prove that what I teach works for both Amazon books and my own website. Okay? So the reality of it is, if you have a traffic source, that's what matters. You have a traffic source of fans, people who love what you create. You can sell your books from anywhere. You don't have to sell it on Amazon. But if you don't sell on Amazon, then you need to figure out how to build a website, do HTML, write a sales page, create a buy button, create a product delivery system, and bring traffic to your book. Okay? So Amazon takes a lot of that away from us. If we put the book on Amazon, the only thing we have to do is upload a great book to Amazon and write up a good book description, and they'll generally take care of everything else. But you do need to fire that initial burst of traffic, that initial burst of people who are buying your book. Because until you do that, until Amazon has seen that you're actually generating sales, they're not going to promote you. So you have to figure out how to get the first 100 or 200 or 500 buyers to your book. Once you've done that, you fire the Amazon algorithm and they send loads of traffic to your book. Okay? So that's what we got to do. And there's two sides of the equation. There's your book description, and I talked about this before, your conversion rate on your book description. If you're getting 11%, that's 11 sales for every 100 people who visited your sales page, okay? And I gave you incorrect math a while ago. I said if I'm converting at 11% and I sold 2,000 copies, how many people do I have to get to the page in order to achieve that? And it's roughly around 20,000, about 18,000 actually. So I had to get 18,000 people to my sales page at 11% conversion to sell 2,000 copies. And on that particular book, I sold 2,200 copies within the first 45 days or so. Okay? And that book was priced at $17. So I got to keep 95% of the money. It's good money. I make good money doing what I do. But it's not the same for everybody, because not everybody can build a website, not everybody can build a buy button, not everybody can take care of the payment process and the product delivery and the traffic. So that's why we have Amazon. Okay? If I can't bring the traffic to the particular book, I'm going to go to Amazon because they have a built-in traffic base. All I have to do is figure out how to fire the first 500 sales, then Amazon will take care of the rest. And honestly, you don't need 500. You don't have to fire 500 to flip the switch on the Amazon algorithm. We've done it with, there's a lot of us that I work with. I work with a lot of different authors behind the scenes. And we test things. We're marketers at heart, right? To us, in our world, it's exciting to figure out how to get people to buy our stuff. So we go test stuff. And we publish stuff under pen names. And then we run marketing tests against it. And try to figure out how to convert those books into money makers. And the people that I do the testing with on this, my own books or their own books or whatever the case may be, we've actually fired the Amazon algorithm with as few as 75 sales. 75 sales. We fired the Amazon algorithm and Amazon promoted our books for us. We don't have to do 500 books. We can do 75 books. But you want to be you want to aim high, because what happens is today is Thursday, or today's Wednesday, I think. I lose track. So, let's see, today is Wednesday. Had to think about it a second, because my mom's birthday is tomorrow. My kid's birthday was a few days ago. So, today is Wednesday. Now, Wednesday tends to be a higher sales day at Amazon. Saturday and Sunday tend to be low sales days at Amazon. So, if you sell 100 copies on Wednesday, that might not fire the Amazon algorithm because you're not moving enough product to catch the attention of the algorithm. But if you pushed 75 copies on Saturday, you can almost guarantee you're going to trip it off, okay? But then you might say to yourself, well, if I can push it on Saturday instead of Wednesday, why wouldn't I, and almost guarantee firing the Amazon algorithm, why would I publish on Wednesday instead of on Saturday? And the answer is really simple: your target audience. And here's the deal, a lot of my particular buyers, they are only online 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, no matter where they're at in the world. So some of my people are in the UK, some are on the East Coast US, some are West Coast US. So 8 to 5, Monday through Friday is my best time to send out an email if I want a response. But I can, and I often do, send out emails at 8 o'clock at night, or at 3 o'clock in the morning, or on a Saturday, or on a Sunday, and I do get response, but my response is lower. And that's because there's fewer people there watching their email box at, at night or on the weekends. So it depends on your audience. If your audience checks their email from work, then 8 to 5 is the perfect time to do it. That's when you're going to get the most sales. 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. Okay? That's if they can check their email from work. Okay? If they cannot check their email, say they're working in a factory instead. If they're working in a factory, they can't check their email from work. Right? Because they don't have a computer terminal at work. They might have their phone, but they can't be looking at their phone when they're supposed to be running machinery. So if your audience is people who work in a factory, then you need to hit them between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. at night. Maybe 10 p.m. at night, okay? So between 5 and 10 at night. And those people, when they're off on the weekends, they will go and they will look to buy books on Saturday and Sunday. Now here's another twist to that. Suppose they work in a restaurant. Well, they're working evenings and they're working weekends. So you can't get those people while they're at work. Because if they're in the restaurant business, they're not able to look at their phone while they're working. So when they come home from work, and most people, they get up and then go to work and then spend the rest of the evening winding down. So if you get somebody who's working in a restaurant or a bar situation, chances are they're opening your email at 3 a.m. in the morning. Okay? So it's just a matter of understanding who your target audience is and when to reach them. So if you hit them Wednesday between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m., you will probably, most likely, in every circumstance, reach 4 to 5 times more people than what you would reach on a Saturday afternoon. And I see these numbers when I'm sending out emails or running ads on Facebook or whatever it is I'm doing. I'm watching the numbers because I'm a geek. I love that stuff, okay? I'm trying to figure out what it is I need to do in order to accomplish what it is I want to accomplish. And so I'm watching the numbers, and on a Wednesday afternoon, I can hit 4 to 5 times more people than I can on a Saturday afternoon. Okay? So, yes, you can top the charts at Amazon and fire the algorithm on a Saturday afternoon easier than what you can on Wednesday afternoon, but there's going to be fewer people looking. So, you fired that Amazon algorithm, but you are not necessarily reaching more people because it's a weekend and fewer people are online. I hope that kind of makes sense. So sometimes I fire on the weekend, and sometimes I fire Wednesday at 3 p.m. And sometimes I fire Tuesday at 9 a.m. So I play around with it. And if you're producing a lot of books, you can play around with it too. But if you are producing one book a month or one book every 3 months, you don't quite have the latitude to test things that I do. So, going forward on this channel, I hope you've enjoyed what you've heard so far today, and I hope you found it fairly interesting or actually useful. But I'm going to be doing videos like this on this channel, and you see Bill right here. Let's see, right there, Bill Platt for Authors. If you go to billplattforauthors.com, you can sign up for my mailing list, and I do send out, in fact, I do more training via email than I do by video. So if you enjoy what you hear here, if you enjoy what you hear on this channel, sign up at my website and get my emails too, okay? But over the coming weeks, months, and years, I hope, I will be coming to you with more training, and I'm going to teach you some of these more in-depth items about what it takes to become successful as a book author. And everything I do on my own website directly applies to Amazon with a few minor alterations. So on my own website I have to have my own paid buttons and I have to bring my own traffic. But I get to make more money, right? But when you go to Amazon, you get to reach more people. If you can cut through the muck to get somewhere, because there are 244 million buyers on Amazon's mailing list, and if you can trigger the Amazon algorithm, they're going to send email out to people who bought products similar to your book. Okay? That's what we're trying to accomplish by triggering the Amazon algorithm. We want them to show us in the also bought section. We want them to show us in the hot new releases. We want them to show us in the bestseller in my category, and perhaps even bestseller in the entire store, right? But we also want to get into their email sequence, because if you trigger enough sales, then they'll start mailing people and letting them know about your book. And that's what we're trying to accomplish when we're firing the Amazon algorithm. That's why we want to, I describe it like, and this is kind of funny, but I describe it like the Wile E. Coyote, Roadrunner and Coyote cartoons when we watch them as kids. It's like Wile E. Coyote strapping a rocket to his butt and lighting a fuse. And it's just like, boom! Okay? That's what I'm talking about with the Amazon algorithm. And if you can do that with your books, and for me, I come from a little bit different world. I'm in it to make money. I'm in it to make a living. I don't necessarily need Amazon in order to make a living selling books. But I write under a lot of different genres. If I'm writing something for book authors, chances are I'm going to sell it from my own website. In some cases, I'll sell it from Amazon just to prove that I can, right? But if I'm writing on dating or history or something like that, you betcha I'm going to put under a pen name and stick it over on Amazon, because I don't have a mailing list that addresses that particular audience. Okay? I cannot fast fire 200 sales to Amazon for a history book. It's not going to stop me from writing history, but I can't do it because I'm not tuned into that marketplace. But if I were in a situation, and this is why it's important for you to pay attention here. If I were in a situation where I wanted to put my history book at the top of category, I know what to do. It comes down to, will I do it? I got so many things going on. Do I want to do a full marketing campaign for this book that I wrote about Oklahoma history? Who knows? Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I did publish one on Oklahoma history in 2016, not under my own name, but under my mother's name. She had written it, I published it, I put it up on Amazon, and then I did a full-blown marketing campaign on that book, and we were able to do pretty well with it. We sold about 500 copies of it. So, a little bit above average, but not bestseller material. You know what I'm saying? So, we were making approximately $3 to $4 per book, and we sold 500 books. So, you do the math, we made about $2,000 on that book. But when you piece it together, you look at it and say, $2,000, that's not much money. I can't make a living on $2,000. But if you do 30 books over the course of 1 year that make $2,000 each, then you're at $60,000 a month, above the median average income of most people in the United States. Okay? So it varies on what your goals is and what you need to achieve in order to reach your own personal goals. And I'm not going to tell you how much money I make, but I make considerably more than that. And I do it by selling books. And I do it by, in most cases, selling books from my own website. Not from Amazon. But I can sell my books on Amazon, and I do. And I can sell them on the iBook store, and I do. And I can sell them on Barnes & Noble, and I do. And I can sell them on Google Play as soon as I just discovered that Google Play actually sells books. So that's something that I'm going to be learning about in the next year. And I'll be doing that as well. But the bottom line is, if you want to learn how to write nonfiction, I can help you. If you want to learn how to write fiction, I can help you, but I'm probably not the best person for the job. My thing is, I talk to a lot of fiction. I know a lot of people who write fiction. They tell me stuff, and I tell you stuff, right? If you're interested in coloring books, I can help you. If you're interested in journals or diaries, I can help you. If you're interested in learning how to promote your books, I can help you. The thing of it is, there is a little bit involved in the marketing of the books. And a lot of times I will determine that, yes, I want to write this book, but I don't want to promote it. So I'll write it and stick it up on Amazon and go to the next book. I'll just completely skip the marketing process. And then if I notice later that book is like doing better than I expected, then I'll go back and probably do a marketing campaign on that book. And I've done that a few times in my career. I've put out stuff and they became surprising bestsellers. Not necessarily bestsellers, but surprising profitable books. And then I went back and took care of those, And the thing of it is, some books make $2,000, some of them make $5,000, some of them make $10,000, but when you add them up, you can make a significant income doing what I do. And I haven't had jobs since 2005. I don't need a job because I make money from my writing. I went back a couple of years ago and did some math on it. And roughly 98% of every dime I earn is the direct result of something I've written. And that's the way it should be, right? So, my name is Bill Platt, and there's the train. But I'll catch you in the next video. And if you like what you see inside these videos, down below you will find a subscribe button in YouTube. Just go ahead and click on that subscribe button. And I think it's over here, about right there. If you want to hear more videos like this, just click on the subscribe button. And YouTube will notify you when there are new videos available that I've made available to you. So do subscribe and do share this with your friends. Have a great day.